And following on what we did yesterday, thinking we could have a look at food waste. So I went through the cupboard and I was thinking what I forgot, and actually came up that I had some aubergines that needed using up. Now it's just, I think aubergines are just fantastic, and I think it's one of the things that people often don't have in their cupboard. And I think it can be used for so many amazing different dishes. So today we're actually going to make an aubergine lasagne, which is, people often think about moussaka, but it's not moussaka. It's going to be vegetarian. Yesterday I was going to make with a friend, I was going to make a catsup curry, but I failed completely because I forgot to get my breadcrumbs. You can chop it up, you can put it in roasted vegetables, you can put it in with the vegetable curry, you can put it with tomatoes and make a really yummy Middle Eastern dish. There's just so many things you can do with aubergine. So the next time you go to the supermarket and you see it, then just buy one and then just have a look on Google, or make this one, or just have a think about the different ways you can cook with aubergine. Okay, so very, very simple. You need to really put your aubergine in the fridge, because that's what you, sorry, not in the fridge, oh my god, you need to put it in the oven. Okay, and then you're going to literally cover in a bit of seasoning. So recommended that you actually make a little bit of a French dressing. So I did that, and although this looks a little bit oily, it gives it loads of taste. And you could leave it crispy, you could put it in the oven and leave it even crispier. So I've just showed you what I've done already. So if we just show you what we've got. So we've got the aubergine, and ideally if you can cut it as thin. So some of mine as per normal, some are bigger and some are smaller than others. And that really doesn't matter, okay? If you want it the same size and you're really careful, one of these amazing people who can do everything the same, then that's perfect. If not, it really doesn't matter. Okay, so we then just take a bowl, and we're just going to make up some dressing that we think would be really nice to give aubergine some taste. So this again is totally up to you. It's whatever that you feel is actually going to work. So I'm going to actually add a little bit of olive oil, and then to that I'm going to add a little bit of garlic, and then to that I'm also going to add a little bit of mustard. Okay, and also to that I'm just going to add a little bit of basmati vinegar. So this comes in all different shapes and sizes, and I don't think it's anything that's so confusing when you go to the supermarket knowing which one to buy. I don't know, it just, some of them are expensive, some of them are really cheap, I don't know which is the best one really. Okay, so we've just made a little bit of so that's a bit like a French dressing, isn't it, that you'd make if you're making a salad. Let's just add a little bit more oil. Okay. If you don't want to be bothered with the dressing, just cover it a little bit of oil. That'd be absolutely fine. A bit of salt and pepper, absolutely fine. You know, it's you don't need to go through all that hassle. It's just going to give it a little bit of flavour. So we're literally going to put our aubergine into our bowl, and literally you can use a fork or get our hands dirty, and then we're literally going to cover that. Okay, so literally all we're going to do is we're going to cover that in that mixture. Simple like that. And then we're going to put it in a, just got a sheet ready that's got some foil on it. And we're literally going to put cover our aubergine onto our sheet. We make sure they're all laid out nicely so they're not on top of each other. Okay. And then we're going to put that in the oven for, I think for about 20 minutes at about 180. Okay. So when you're going through your cupboard and you're thinking, actually, what could I put together? What could I make with my my aubergines, and what could I make? something that I've talked about before, if you ever watch my fennel and bacon, is that I really like having fennel. I think it gives a really nice, unusual flavour. And also there's so many things you can do with it. So this one I bought a week ago. Can you see I haven't used it yet? It needs eating up, so that would be perfect for today. So I'm just going to cut the top off, cut the bottom off, and literally take out the outer layer, and then it's absolutely, bulb is absolutely perfect. Okay, so then I'm just going to cut that, and I'm just going to cut that really small. And I'm going to add that to my baking dish. And again, there's a bit of oil left in the bottle where I did them last time, so literally I turn them over, that should be okay. Maybe a tiny weeny little bit more. I use rapeseed oil for this one. And then again, it's going to go in the oven for about 20 minutes, okay? So again, if you then just use your fork and make sure it's all evenly coated, okay? Right, and then if you wanted to, you could salt and pepper that at the same time, okay? So maybe I should do that, maybe I should put a bit of pepper on. Seasoning is absolutely key. The more you season, the yummier things are. Just, okay, there you go. So going to put that in the aubergine, and again it will go for about 20 minutes at 180, okay? Okie doke, right. So yesterday, I don't know if people watched me yesterday. Yesterday we made a tomato sauce, and so I'm going to use that tomato sauce I made yesterday. Again, a great way to use up something that you've already made. It makes your life so much easier. You've already made something, and even if you use some of it, you've still got half of it you could use up, or you could just add a few more veggies or a few more tomatoes just to make it a little bit more that you need. So my tomato sauce that I've got. So again, I use this from my leftover vegetables. So in here I've got vegetables that I needed to use up. So again, it's got a little bit of celery, just the end of the celery. It's got a few leeks in it. I think it's got a carrot in it. It's literally got everything that I needed. A bit like making a soup in a way. So you're just adding things if you need to that need to be added up. And if you don't want to do that, then you can literally make a simple tomato sauce. Add a tin of tomatoes and maybe an onion and a bit of garlic, and that'll be absolutely yummy too. Okay, you don't need to put the veggies in. I just put the veggies in because I love the fact that I'm having more vegetables in my diet, and it's giving me all the extra benefits of vitamins and antioxidants and the fibre, and I personally prefer that, but it's absolutely down to you. So again, down to personal preference. I really want to make my lasagne into something that's going to be a really substantial dish, and by doing that, adding to my tomato sauce, I'm going to add a can of lentils. So therefore I'm going to have the lentils again. They're just they're full of fibre, they're full of protein. Again, they're dead cheap, so this meal is really not going to cost hardly anything, which is even better. So lentils you can get so many different types of lentils. You can buy, these are green lentils, these came in a tin, just because what I'm doing today, and I didn't want to boil them for a long time. But if you have them in a packet, they're brilliant. Obviously they're cheap in the packet, and absolutely great. You don't need to soak them. You can just add them as long as you boil them for a long time. And green lentils give you a bit more of a meaty taste. So yesterday we used red lentils, didn't we, in the patties, and they were fantastic, but they went to mush, didn't they? So they provided a totally different taste. So again, it's completely up to you what you think that you would like, or maybe you think actually lentils for you is going to be too much, and just have a tomato sauce and the aubergine, and maybe some vegetables like fennel or something, or maybe spinach you could have in the middle. Anything really would be enough. But I'm going to add my lentils to my mixture. Okay, I'm going to give that a stir, and I'm just going to put that on my heat over here for a moment. Okay, so it's going to warm that through. Okay. Okay, so then we're going to make a white sauce. Now I have made a white sauce before. It's on either one of my YouTube channel, but let's just show you again because I think it's something that people are really scared of making, and a white sauce is so easy. And if you can master how to make one, it just makes your life so much easier. And you don't have to buy one out of a jar. You can literally just whiz one up, and it's just like brilliant. So I just tidy up a minute, and I'll just So again, depending on how you want to make your white sauce, you could fry an onion first or a leek first if you wanted to have a bit of a base. But really, you don't need to go to that extreme. You just literally can just add a bit of butter. So just going to add a bit of butter, a spoon, and then add a bit of milk. Okay. Probably add a bit of flour. So depending on what you want to use your sauce for, you'll want to have some flavourings, and you can add those as you go along, depending. Okay, so also going to add a bit of. So in here we've got some butter, some flour, and some milk. Okay, so should we just put our cooker on, and we're just going to warm that up. Okay. And as that starts to be warmed up, we're going to want to stir it because the butter's going to melt, the flour's going to thicken the sauce, and you might feel that you want to use a whisk, which is absolutely fine. You don't want lumps in your sauce, and there's no bad thing about having to use a whisk to have to make it really really smooth. There's probably not going to be enough milk in this, so you're probably going to have to add some more, which is absolutely fine. You might find actually that you might want to add something else, maybe a bit of creme fraiche in it, might be really nice. Or maybe if you don't have milk, you could add water, that would be absolutely fine too. Remember, if you add water or even just adding milk, I think you probably need a little bit of a stock sometimes. Not always, something, as long as you maybe give it something, it depends what you want to be using it for. So maybe I've got a bit of a bouillon, so I think I might just add a bit of bouillon just to give it a little bit of a taste. A whole stock cube would be too much, I think. The taste would be overpowering, and also it would be far too salty. So a bit of bouillon maybe, and maybe I think some herbs as well. I think maybe adding some mixed herbs would be absolutely brilliant. Just again, give it a little bit of flavour. Watch the salt though. If you're adding stock, then really you don't need salt as well. One or t'other. There's nothing worse, A, than it being too salty, and B, you don't really need that salt in your diet. Remember, it's 6 grams a day which you need, which is really nothing. But you can add black pepper because that's absolutely fine. And black pepper again would be really nice. But if you wanted to, you could add curry powder, you could add a bit of cumin, coriander, you could add anything really that you think would actually maybe bring out some of the flavours. Okay, so we just give that a stir. We see the butter's already starting to melt, so we're just going to give that a stir. I can hear my tomato sauce bubbling away as well, so I'll just keep an eye on that in a minute. So I'm just going to, actually I don't like this, let me just grab from my whisk, and I am just going to give that a whisk, okay? I don't know if you can see that, that's all coming together, okay? So if you're vegan, it's a great way to make a vegan sauce as well, because you can make, use your vegan margarine, and of course that would be, you know, that's absolutely fine. And the whole meal actually could be vegan, which is great. So vegan, vegetarian, or just if you just fancy a vegetarian dish, which would be absolutely fine. I think it's great to eat veggie, really. So here we go. Right, it's thickening up nicely. So I can use my spoon now. I can get right into the size of my pan, and it's really starting to thicken up. So there you go. That basically is a really yummy, simple white sauce. And how long did that take? Okay, so save yourself the time and effort of buying one in a jar and just make one. So I've used mine out of plant-based milk. If you want to, you know, if you use dairy milk, of course that works absolutely fine. Any milk, soya milk works fine. You know, it's fine. Water works fine. It all works perfectly. Okay, so here. So as we see, if we turn it up and out a little bit, this is thickening up nicely. So I want this to be on the topping of my lasagna, which is why I'm making it. So I'm going to see how much, the dog's being annoying, how much I need. So I'm going to add a little bit more milk. So you can see it's thickening. So once you've made your initial sauce, you can then decide if you want it to be a bit thicker, a bit runnier. Maybe just add a bit more milk. Then we can just stir it up, and that's just going to thin it a little bit. Okay. So when you're using your topping for your lasagna, you could either add cheese on top if you're vegetarian or vegan and you like the idea of having cheese. It would be absolutely yummy. If you're vegan, obviously that won't work. If you're like us and you're trying to not have any dairy, then I'm going to use these yeast flakes. And for some reason they do work. I know I was really sceptical, but actually they taste really fine. So I'm just going to add some to my sauce. And that's going to be, oh look, it's thickening up. Can you see that? So again, thickening up really nicely. So again, I'm going to add some more milk. I turn it down a bit. Okay. And then stir it again. Okay. So sometimes it's really difficult to tell people how much milk. I think it's roughly 50 grams of butter, 50 grams of flour, 500 mils of fluid. But it really comes down to you about individually how thick you want your sauce to be. And the number of times I'll have done it and I've made the wrong amount for your lasagna. You know, you'll have either too much or too little, and really it doesn't matter, does it? You know, it's so don't worry about the fact that you need to get the exact amount, because you'll get it right in the end. It'll all be fine. Okay, so that's just going nicely. I'll just give that 2 more minutes because I just added a bit more milk to that. Okay. Oh, I can feel it boiling. It's always everything happens at once. Okay. Spare that 2 minutes. Okay. Right, good. Okay, let's come back to this one. Okay, so as you added more milk, you just need it to thicken up again, because you're just adding that cold milk, so you're just all going to come together again. And you can see it's all starting to all come together. So once you add some more liquid, just make sure that you bring it to the boil a little bit more, just to all thicken up again. And you can see, look, it's all starting to look really good. Okay, so as it's thickening again, you can see it's thickening. I'm going to call that a day. I think that looks absolutely great. So you can see that's a really, really nice consistency, and I think that'll go really nicely on the top of my lasagna. Okay. Okay. There you go. And again, I feel like I might have made it a bit too much, but I don't think so, because I think when you pour it on, the aubergine is going to take up some of the sauce, and you want quite a nice covering. Okay. So let's put it all together, all right? Okay, so we just, actually I'll move this, and I can bring over my, so this is my tomato sauce. Let me just show you this. My tomato sauce with my lentils. So this, I think this looks, see that? I think this looks really good. Okay. Right. So putting it together. So let's just get a dish. Now you could probably do this any way you wanted. You could probably add some tomatoes at the bottom. You could add some aubergine at the bottom, and probably whatever way I do it, you're going to probably do it differently. So that's absolutely fine. So I think I'm going to put my aubergine at the bottom, or am I going to put my tomato sauce, aubergine? I think I'll put my tomato sauce at the bottom. So if I add a bit of sauce at the bottom, okay. So I'm going to add my sauce at the bottom. I've got quite a lot, so I can use some more. Okay, you can see that. And then I'm going to add my fennel. So I'm going to take my fennel. I'm going to add my fennel on top. Okay. And if I've made too much of my tomato sauce with my lentils, I can't use it all, then next time it's ideal, just add it to a tin of beans. Add it to the beans with a little bit of chili powder, and you've got a veggie chili. Perfect, okay? So therefore you easily make 2 meals, which is absolutely brilliant. Okay, so I've got my lentils with my tomato sauce, I've got my fennel. I'm just going to add my aubergine on top. Okay. If you wanted to, I suppose there is no reason why you couldn't add your sauce as if you're making a proper lasagna. And I see my container is probably slightly too big for my aubergine, but I think that's absolutely fine. So now I think I'm going to add a bit more sauce. Okay. And if you wanted to, you could salt and pepper in between each different layer. I'm sure loads of people, chefs, would want to do that. Okay. So I've got a bit left over, so that'd be perfect. Okay, that will make a really yummy lunch for someone with a tin of beans. So again, food waste, don't throw it out. Try and think what you can do with it. So if I just look in my okay, so my aubergine and my fennel aren't quite ready yet, but all you're going to do now is you're going to add the white sauce to the top of that, and that literally is going to provide you with your absolutely yummy aubergine lasagna. So and then I would probably cook that, I don't know, 180 for about 20 minutes. Everything is 180. Anyway, so really hope you've enjoyed watching me today. Please comment, give me suggestions. I'd love to hear from you. So anyway, so go away and play with some aubergines, or have a bit of fun with lentils, and let me know how you got on. Okay, thank you.